Good evening, Anjali. Thanks for joining us for today's session. As you already know, this is a session on the career building on the data engineering, and here you will get to interact to know about all the things that you need to get started with your career in this domain and what exactly is the current state looks like for the data engineering domain from a perspective of a company as well as from a perspective of anyone who wants to build a career into this field. So we will start the today's session with giving a bit information about our platform and what. So we are a experiential learning platform for past more than a year. To uh, we are working in this field to bring the experience of professionals, working professionals, senior leaders in various fields to the other half of the population who wants to build their career, still are in early stage of their career and wants to make big into it. So into that series, we have now been more focused towards giving very much of a fellowship of a career-oriented program, and this is a one of this is one of the program in that series itself. So let me just start the session with introducing you about our esteemed guest tonight. So that so Anjali actually is a very senior professional, and we are very thankful for agreeing to join this session with us. She have very 2 decades of experience in the software industry, where she have worked with various organizations into their data teams and driving decision using the analytics and big data ecosystems. Currently, she is a principal consultant for the big data and data analytics domain at Atos, where she is leading a team of various data scientists and data engineers to visualize and model the data and drive insights for the organizations. Being a statistician at the core, she has experience with various analytical tools as well as a product management and analytics project that she have vast experience of working on with. And she, in her 2 decade long career, she have been associated with various brands like Sintel, Aptech, Silverline Technologies, and TCS. Apart from it, she is very vocal and very active into the data science or big data community, as well as women in data science and big data ecosystem, where she hosts various sessions and educational webinars such as this to solve any doubt that people might have bring to this get started into their career into this field, as well as experienced professional or organizations who wants to leverage this big data ecosystems. Now let's dive into the content part. So I would like to invite Anjali onto the stage.
Thank you, Digvijay. Thank you. Thank you all for joining today's session. I welcome you to the session. It's a quick session on, I'll just try to give you a brief overview of data engineering, what it means in a very, very simple terminology and real life examples that you can connect with. I can share my screen, right, Digvijay?
Yeah, you can start presenting.
So good evening to all. Like today's session is on big data engineering. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what big data analytics is, what are the big data frameworks, what are the careers options available in data science and data analytics with special focus on what does data engineering means and how do you become a data engineer and what are the roles and responsibilities of the data engineer. And then I think Ram would take care of what are the skills that the recruiter are looking for in hiring the data analytics engineer, followed by whatever questions that you have. So I think, can you take a poll, Digvijay?
So guys, this poll we have launched to understand what sort of audience we have today. Please just quickly filled off this poll, and we can proceed further with our content part.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your response. So that gives me a good idea of the profile of the audience so that I can tailor my presentation as per your need. So most of you must be engineers and maybe started working and trying to see if you can, how you can make a career in data science, because that's the hot topic. So let me go back. Maybe you can stop the poll now, or you can keep it open. So let's have a quick introduction of big data and analytics and what does it mean with a real life example. And what could be the other example than the pandemic and the Arogya Setu app, which all of us are using. So Arogya Setu app, all of us know there is a data in it. All of us know there are decisions that the government authorities are taking based on the data analysis that is fed into the Arogya Setu app. So it's a big data. Okay, so there are like almost 2 billion cases, 2 billion active users and all those things, and everybody's data, like if you have gone through a COVID experience or you have done RT-PCR test or you are vaccinated or not, everything is available here. So this is obviously huge amount of data. So just imagine, you must have used Arogya Setu app, everybody is using it. So just imagine the kind of data Arogya Setu app is handling, the volume of the data, how the data is coming up, how the data is stored, and how the data is processed, and how the decisions are made, and how the data is visualized, like how the data is visualized in such a way that we can understand where the pandemic is increasing, where it is decreasing, and that's what is actually helping the government authorities to take a decision whether to lock down or not unlock the country. So all of us are experiencing here the way data is analyzed and the way data is used, which is impacting our own life right now. So there would be a visualization how the data would be visualized, because only numbers would not make sense. So the numbers are converted into the maps, and that would give you much better information about it. You can see the trends, and you're also seeing predictions. Now we are seeing predictions for how many patients will be there in third wave, etc. So all that thing, there is a mathematical model behind it. It's not coming out of somebody's hat, it's coming based on the data. And this data is really impacting our lives. So what does big data means? Like big data represents 4 V's, like 4 V's. So they are volume. So their data is coming in huge volume. Velocity, the data is coming, like it's coming at a high speed, like the data is bombarding the server with a high speed. The data is of different variety. So it's not only the data that, or maybe the library management system or the employee management system, which you might have done as part of your college exercises. So it has much more different types of the data. It has maybe medical reports, it has some textual information, it has photos and all that stuff. So it's a different variety of the data. And it's also structured and unstructured data. Structured data means is the normal structured database that we have in our, what we have learned in the college. Unstructured data means your voice, audio, video, all such data, but that's called as unstructured data. The data is also, the 4th V is about veracity. That means the data may not be correct. Like maybe we are talking little bit sarcastically, the data may not be correct, the data can be erroneous. So our job is to find out how to deal with that data. So these are the 4 V's of big data, which you should be knowing about. So volume, velocity, variety, and veracity. Okay, and all these things are making it's increasing the complexity, because the data is coming huge volumes. So only mere volume, like it's increasing the problem of handling and processing the data. It's coming at very high speed. So we have to tackle that speed. We have to manage that speed. It's a different kind of variety data and different veracity of the data. It's a various levels of data uncertainty and reliability. So what does it mean is like, see, the all four V's making the entire project complex. Just remember Arogya Setu app with your family. So here Arogya Setu app is maybe your family has 5 to 6 members. So just imagine Arogya Setu app for your family. So you have 5 to 6 members. So you can deal with their data very easily. But as soon as the Arogya Setu app becomes a nationwide app, just imagine how the complexity would have increased. Okay, it's coming at huge velocity, like a lot of data is coming every day, every minute, every single second. A different variety of the data coming, different veracity. And what we are expected as a data engineers and data scientists is to process this data and help authorities to take decision. So here, every time the thing is, so these are the 4 V's, and every time in the big data synology, you should remember less is more. You have to, from all the analysis that you are doing from Arogya Setu app, we have to decide whether I should be locked down a particular city or not. So that's a decision is small, but it has based on a broad database, and therefore it is the huge data that is underlying that decision increases the probability of that decision is correct, because here every time we are predicting something in future. So we are helping our customers or helping your authorities to work in future. So this is what big data is. So here, and all these 4 V's are increasing the complexity of the project that you are handling. Now let me give you another example, like MasterChef Australia. You see like that, all of you are familiar with this. So what does this MasterChef Australia has to do with the big data? So let's take a good example. Like I thought it's a good analogy. So therefore I thought I'll be able to explain you better what does the big data projects is. So you know about MasterChef Australia, all of you know it's just a food program, and people are supposed to develop, like prepare some dish, and the judges would examine the dish. So obviously here what is there is where there is a huge kitchen, and where all possible ingredients required would be available. So it's like too many ingredients are available, because anybody would need anything for making that particular dish. So it's a huge kitchen. So it's all raw food items are kept there. With this raw food item kept there, then there are many tools to process them. So to make that particular dish, you are using your mixers, grinders, gas stoves, and all the ovens, etc. So there are many tools that you are using to make that particular dish. On top of it, there is a time constraint, because you have to make up your dish in certain time, maybe 1 hour or 90 minutes. And then what you have to do is you have to prepare a dish which would delight the customer. So how does this analogy works with big data scenario? In big data, what you have is a raw data with 4 V's, so all possible data. So here every time we are supposed to be putting all the raw data in what we call it as a data lake. It's called as a data lake. So everybody is putting whatever the data that they have in the data lake, and it becomes a huge data lake. Or there's a lot of variety in the data. There's a lot of velocity and veracity, all those parameters are there. And so it is a raw data that is available. From that raw data, you are supposed to be using various tools, frameworks, architecture, like programming languages, your databases, all those things you have to use within a particular time, so that you delight your customer. So what you give to the customer is your data insights, your dashboards, your predictive models, your machine learning models. So here also, like similarly, you have a time constraint, and you have to prepare a small dish, or you have to prepare a small model. The model is very small, but it will have high impact that you have to give based on the huge raw data that you are going to process using the various tools and the frameworks that we have. So this gives a good analogy of what big data is. Like these are the very, very simple real life examples which we all are familiar with, and which we like Arogya Setu and pandemic, all of us are experiencing it. So that's what is about data, big data and the data science. So here you are supposed to be handling huge amount of data, coming into the system, processing the data and making a decision. Making a decision, that's important. Or you give actionable insight to the customer or to the authorities for whom we are developing the model. So now these are two good examples. So we understand what does the big data means. Okay, so these are some examples, but does that mean that I will get a job in it? Because these are very, very niche skills. So what would be my role in it? So then therefore I'm just giving you some example about what is the size of the data analytics market worldwide. So definitely it is increasing. It is increasing at a very high speed. And this is data from Gartner, which is predicting it's around $104 billion. So it's a huge market that is available. So once I know that huge market is available, there is a lot of money available on the table. So it's up to us. How do we create opportunity to grab the money on the table and work in this area? So this gives just an idea for me that yes, this is a field, this is the area where I can look at, because there would be a market available for this kind of software. Can you run second poll, Digvijay, please? So let me understand what is like a So I hope understand like machine learning model, it's how it works. If I tell you the truth, like maybe around only 20 to 30% of the machine learning models actually gets deployed in the thing. So one of the machine learning model which we are experiencing at your Amazon, when the recommendation engine, like when you buy some product, you get another product which you should buy. So that's a recommendation engine, and that's also called as a machine learning model. So it's not that easy to make the machine learning model. It can be, if it is works, it can work in 1 to 3 months, but otherwise most of the machine learning model may not see the light. It may not get in production. However, like 3 months to 1 year is a reasonable period when you can deploy the machine learning model. So now we have understood that like what is big data and what is the analysis. So we understood what does big data means, and there is some sort of analysis that we are doing, and based on it. And all these things are related to strategic big ticket decisions. It's not a very small decision that is taken by the big data analysis. So it's a big responsibility. So what are the careers that are available in the big data frameworks? So first of all, you should be having, like, there are 3 things. You can either need to know domain. So if you're doing a banking, like, let's take an example again, like maybe it's a bank, okay? So the bank wants to decide what should be their strategy for launching a new, maybe loan product. Whether they should launch a home loan, or whether they should launch vehicle loan, or whether they should launch what kind of loan, so that they will sell it better. So you need a domain understanding. So if you're in a bank, you need a banking knowledge, you need a IT skills, and you need a data science skills. So all these three aspects are there, and you can choose which one you are good at it. So typically data engineering would fill here. Okay, data scientists would fill here, and these are the domain people. Obviously, they need to they understand their banking domain and they understand their data much better. And data scientists help them to understand the data in a much deeper way, and they work on the machine learning models and then they deploy. The data engineer comes here, they ensure that all data is coming into the system and it's being made available to all the people. So it's a core thing, and then you should see like, so if you look at careers, like what is the task spectrum? So you can become a junior data scientist, you can become senior data scientist, become data engineer, domain expert, you can be a software engineer, machine learning engineer, or BI means business intelligence, or the data visualizers. So here, if you look at this, like what kind of skills that you have, you need math skills, obviously, because all your machine learning models are depending on the statistical algorithms. So you need definitely math skills. You need IT skills, so your R or Python or any language or SQL that you have, because you need that to process the data. You obviously need a business skill, like how to understand the domain and what kind of models we should have. And obviously we'll need soft skills like presentation and storytelling and all that stuff. So depending on your scenario, like you can see that where you want to fit, like you want select which skill you are good at it. And depending on that, you can select your roles. Select your roles and what is required for each role. So if you are good at IT, you should become a data engineer, software engineer, ML engineer. If you're good at math skills, you can become data scientist, okay, or senior data scientist, where you can develop the model and you are supposed to be presenting that. So as a data scientist, even soft skills are becoming very important, like how you present the data, how you convince your results that you have obtained from the data. So this becomes handy, so for you to choose where you are and what you should do. So this would be a good guidelines on how you choose what kind of role that you want to start with. Obviously, after you start your career, it would get mix and match, and depending on the projects available, you would have to play multiple roles at the same time. So all that thing will happen. But here, as the beginning of your career, you can focus on whatever you are good at it or whatever you are interested in doing. So again, let me understand, give you example. Again, I'm going back to the Arogya Setu app. So what does data, like, just imagine you are working in a National Informatics Center and you are managing Arogya Setu app. So what would be the team that is managing this Arogya Setu app? So just let's go a little bit behind. We are all users of Arogya Setu app, so we typically know what kind of functionality the Arogya Setu app is. So as a data engineer, what will you do in the Arogya Setu app? If you're working there in the National Informatics Center, as a data engineer, you would be responsible for how the data is coming into the system, because there would be big servers. It's a huge data, so there will be huge servers and data centers available. So as a data engineer, you will be responsible for how the data is coming into the system, how you are going to maintain the quality of the data, how you are going to maintain privacy of that data, how you are going to measure integrity of the data, and how you are going to process that data. So this is the role of a data engineer. You are ensuring that the various systems from where the data is coming up, how you are going to ensure that the data that is coming into the server, which the data scientists would use, which the authorities would use, which prime minister and chief ministers would use to take their decisions. So as a data engineer, your role is very, very crucial. You are ensuring how the data is entering into your system, which others people can use it properly. If the data is not correct, like garbage in, garbage out, and all these decisions are big ticket decisions, like life, it's touching everybody's life. So that's the role of a data engineer. What does data scientist would do? Data scientists would take that data, like understand the data, develop the model, develop visualization, give actionable insight, tell data stories, and explain that data so that so to facilitate the decisions. Okay. A machine learning designer what will they do is they will choose which prediction model would be suitable for the data available, and depending on that, they will work on develop that model, test that model statistically, and then deploy that model. And what is citizen data scientist is a new term. That is, the citizen data scientist is kind of a domain experts as well as little bit statistics they know, but they are from the management cadre, or maybe here in Arogya Setu where they could be the IS officers and all those things, where they are actual consumers of the data, where they are looking at the data, finding out what kind of decision that is to be taken, and again implement that decision. So citizen data scientists, they would be not writing any code as such, but they are the main consumers of the data. So if I take this example, this would be the roles of different kind of people, and I thought I will have explained you with this Arogya Setu app because all of us are knowing this data. So all those decisions, whether to vaccinate, where to vaccinate people, whether not to vaccinate, and everything, what would be the prediction, how it should become, what kind of capacity we should build. So all those decisions can be taken based on this data. So let me go specific into the data engineer now. So we understand at a broad level what does big data means. Then we understand what are the different roles in the big data science team. And now we will focus on what is the role of a data engineer. So here, as you see, like any system, like input, process, output, that's the basic model with which all our computer science start. Like we have input, there is some data coming into system, we are processing it, and we are producing certain reports. But in the big data frameworks, what happens is this becomes very complex because you have so many different types of inputs, so many different types of inputs coming at high velocity over here. Then we have to look at the security aspect of it. We have to store it, like it's just storing the data also a big task because it's a huge amount of data. It generates a lot of things. Then it's on the cloud, like so infrastructure on the cloud. And here, like we have to process the data and then produce the output. So output would be the dashboard, prediction model, machine learning models, actionable insight, data storage, artificial intelligence. All these things would come as an output. So data engineer role will fit here. Okay. Data engineer role would fit here. So you will ensure that all sorts of data is coming properly into the system. You will have a data cleaning rule, data processing rule, data quality checks, data integrity checks, etc. And then data scientists would process it and then prepare an output. And you are also responsible for storing the data, taking the data backup, archiving the data, access management. All those things would be a role of a data engineer. So there are three parts of data delivery. One would be very, very fast. And high velocity like increases the probability of accidents, okay? Because it's high velocity and therefore there could be a wrong thing coming into our system. So as a data engineer, you have to be vigilant and ensure that the good data is coming into system. Slow and right, it's the best solution. Slow and wrong is also an option. So here, as a data engineer, you are supposed to be having rules in place so that you ensure a good quality data is entering in our system. So that the models that we build or the analysis that we make based on the data would be of good use and they would be correct because they are something that is predicting of the future. So there are common issues which the data engineer has to take care of is like duplicate data, abundant data, incorrect data, temporary data. So all those things, different types of the data. So these are the data issues. And if you are able to ensure data quality, then you have to ensure that all those things are taken care of before the data enters into the data system and data goes to a visualization tool like a dashboarding, or data goes for making a machine learning model, or the data goes for making a prediction model. So what does the actual data engineer would do? They would build a data pipeline, because there are various sources of the data, and all those sources of data from various places has to come into the centralized your cloud server. There could be so many places from which data is coming every time, every second, high velocity. So all those things with bad quality, good quality, all those things, data is continuously coming into the server. So as a data engineer, you have to build walls, or you have to build rules, and you have to build processes, so that the data would come into properly into the system. And then you have to obviously ensure that you build the complete frameworks, and you create the new optimized models, and you build various application interface APIs, so that you connect bridges between the two, between different systems, between different servers. Because here a huge data, it is practically not possible to save everything on one machine. So there would be multiple servers, multiple processes, multiple tools. For each process, like there would be for data ingestion, there would be different tools. The data processing, there will be different tools. Data visualization, there will be different tools. And machine learning models, making the different tools. Deploying machine learning model, it's a different tools. So everything there would be for each and every aspect of a data science project. There are different tools available. So as a data engineer, you are supposed to be aware of all those tools. You're supposed to be ensuring that the data quality is good and the data is entering into the system properly. So it's a big responsibility based on which the entire big data science, everything is built on. So therefore, this is what a data engineer would do. And in this course, you would be learning more about how to do it. So here I have explained what the data engineer should do. And now it's the next step is like how to do it. So you support, like here, data engineer would collaborate with data scientist. Data engineer would collaborate with data intake, so various systems from where the data is coming into it. So you have to ensure that the data entry systems are proper. If you're taking data from various signaling devices, IoT devices, how the data is coming into it, then it should be business and product also. You are supporting data science team, and you develop a code which will help to process the data. Okay, there is a lot of data coming up. So as a data engineer, if there is too huge a data, again, we will not be able to make sense of the data. So you have to filter that data, you have to shorten the data, you have to process the data, you have to delete the data, so that you have a right amount of data available to make your machine learning models. Okay, so you will also working with business and product like things. So which is the data elements that are important, and which are the elements to be kept, which are the data elements to be ignored, because you have to also ensure that the system has a good performance. So as the data size increases, obviously it starts impacting the way the performance, obviously. And if it takes if it takes too much time to render, nobody is going to like it. Therefore, that is also your responsibility to ensure that you are explaining the performance of the data. So that's what a brief introduction of data engineering, and I hand it over to Digvijay to talk more about the data engineering bootcamp.
Right. Thanks, Anjali, for very briefly explaining about this whole field. I would just like to, anybody, it's a lot of people here are first time getting familiar to this role and this kind of environment into this, the big data ecosystem and all these things works. So seeing that trend into the whole IT industry, and given that there is a huge demand of data engineers and not that many people to fill those particular roles, we have launched Antworks experiential learning program for the data engineering. It's a one of its kind program that is completely focused on to the building part of the solutions and learning while building the solution for the particular task. So Anjali, can you just go on a slide? Next slide. Yeah. So this data engineering program includes all the modules that one particular person would need to become a full stack data engineer in any organization. So in a complete 16-week weekend program, you get exposed to all the learning all the software tools and other platforms that you will have to work when you get a job as a data engineer. You get hands-on experience onto the SQL, NoSQL, and relational, non-relational kind of databases and doing distributed services and all. And you get to design and build scalable distributed data pipelines, get data storage you on the data lake, data warehouses, everything onto your system. Every project that you will be working on, it's will be a real-time project and will be hosted over Azure Cloud Platform and also visible onto your GitHub profile where it will help you build a strong portfolio. The program is something which is delivered by the industry leaders. So actually here we have 7 to 8 different professionals who are coming from good brands like Amazon, Facebook, IBM, Teradata, Kimberly-Clark, and Mercedes, many more like that. So if you can go to the next slide, I would just quickly like to explain like how the whole roadmap looks like if you were to become a data engineer. So as we were explaining in the earlier slides, so what exactly is the role of a data engineer? Now, in order for you to be making yourself employable in this particular domain, you need to know about Python programming. You need to know how you can manipulate data, how you can analyze data, and give some solutions, clean data, and doing all those tasks. As well as there is an element of SQL, which is really crucial for anyone to succeed as a data engineer. We will be teaching you about the advanced SQL queries as well as making you understand how you can create and work on the databases using PostgreSQL and MongoDB. Then there's a whole week and 2 week where we deep dive into the big data and Hadoop ecosystem. You learn all the technologies which are very essential or fundamental to whole big data ecosystem. And then you move on to the cloud platform, Azure, where you design pipelines, you build data lake and data warehouse like solutions, and use Databricks and Spark like technologies to very streamline the whole process, as well as if there is a data which is coming in the real-time basis, you will be able to build products onto that also using Kafka engines and all. So this is a program. We will be sharing the link to the program over in the chat window also. I would encourage you to go register on the program link, and one of our education counselors will reach out to you regarding any doubts you have to the program. The batch is starting from next week itself, and would love to see some of you there. So Anshul, over to you.
Yeah, Anjali, you can. We have launched the poll now. Hello. Yes, Anjali, we can start again, right? We have. So I have launched the poll, the third poll, which I'll stop now, and probably you can take it from here.
You want to take this slide, Ram?
No, Anjali, please go ahead.
So what do you actually learn in your colleges, and what actually expectations from the organization? Like, from example, from my team, I recruit a lot of people, and they have done some data science courses outside, but they are really not productive immediately. There is some gaps in which we have to build, and it really takes a lot of time from everybody to make them a professional data career. So if you know your if you know Python, it's not enough. If you know data science, if you know statistics, it's not enough. So everything has to be combined. You should know how it can be combined and how it can be integrated together. So this course is supposed to be actually fill this gap from your college life to your professional life. So there are some gaps in between, and I think Ram and Digvijay, they have designed this course in such a way that it will fill that gap so that you can be productive, or you can face the interview better, and you can be in this quite challenging field as soon as you can.
So great. So Anjali, probably we can. Are there other slides, or we can go to question and answer now? I think there are a
I
few
think
questions.
there are. We can go to the question answer slide.
Okay, okay. Please go ahead. I think there's still lots. Please go ahead.
So here, because we are nearing the time is running out. So here, what data governance means is, obviously I spoke about a lot about data quality. Then there is a regulatory compliance. There are data policies, business policies, all those things is like your data engineer is supposed to be governing the data. You are owning your data, and you will be the owner of the data. So as you actually, data, if you can say data is money, then that money has to be governed, money has to be stored, money has to be saved properly, and money has to be used properly. So data governance is like, as a data engineer, you are the owner of the data, and you have to ensure, protect the data so that it would be properly used. So these are the processes. I think I don't want to go into very much detail here, I suppose, because how the data governance work, etc. So that there are so many things that we can do. I think we should go for more of a question and answer so that it would be useful for us to understand what are the questions.
So Anjali, there are like many questions that have come here. So one is, how to. So there are like multiple paths also to data engineering, right? It is a new field. So a lot of people want to transition into it, right? So how to transition from, let's say, a QA analyst to data engineer? What will be the ideal path?
Transition from
QA analyst, quality analyst.
Quality analyst. Okay. So if you're a quality analyst, I think I assume that you understand the processes better, and you understand your customer, and you have a good soft skill. So what you have to augment is your statistic skills. What you have to augment is your data storytelling skills. And obviously, if you want to, from QA, you want to become data engineer, you have to really stress more on your data processing skills, your like whatever the tools, ETLs, the tools that you use. So you should be becoming familiar with your ETL tools, your visualization tools, your data ingestion frameworks, and how you are going to process the data. So I think from the quality analyst, you are familiar with the processes, so it will be good, and it will be good aid for you to actually write the business rules for data cleaning and data processing. So you have to first learn about the tools for data engineering. You have to learn a little bit more about the infrastructure, how the architecture is, and that would help you to become transition to the data set.
Okay.
Hi. Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a front-end developer. Means I have skills like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Angular. So how can I what is the help of how can I learn is it?
If you are a content developer, it's better, like if you are good at visualization, you should go into the data visualization better than data engineer. Like if you, then I would recommend that you be a data visualizer or a data scientist. that could be a better option if you have experience in various content developers, like content processing sites.
Thank you. Yeah.
So Anjali, there's one more question which is coming from Srikar is, so there's so many systems where data is or can be stored, and many industry expect us to know a lot of skills. Right? So how can we cope up with such a variety of systems?
Yes, it is challenging. There are so many things available, but at the same time, if you are fundamentally conceptually familiar, like if you're doing AWS, if you're doing Azure, if you're doing GCP, fundamentally it's input process output. So you should be very, very thorough in your fundamentals. If you're able to thorough in your fundamentals, like you can use the tools, various tools. These are just tools. Like if you're good at your mathematics or statistics, and you're good at your algorithm, and you're good at your understanding of the data, then it is just a tool. Like the tool would have something plus and minus. Each tool will have its own pros and cons. And ultimately, what is the tool that is available for you? Because all these tools will not be available. They are expensive tools. So what is the tool that is available for you in your company, for your project, and which tool the customer is wanting you to use? Because a lot of places we just don't know the tool, but the customer is saying, okay, I want to use this tool. So if you are fundamentally basically strong in one tool, you will be able to easily transition to the other tool. You will be able to quickly learn the other tool because you're fundamentally strong in the data science or data engineering aspect.
Okay. So Anjali, there's one question which I think you may have already answered, but probably we can again quickly recap. So what all things we need to know as a big data engineer?
As a big data engineer, first of all, you should be familiar with what is the market, what are the tools available in the market. At least an introduction, because all these tools, there is a shareware is already available. So there are so many tools, and every day new tools is coming up. So here, first of all, you should do couple of projects. Then only you can get a thorough fundamental understanding of those thorough projects. So here, what I would say that if you want to become a data engineer, take one project, look at the various aspects of the data, how the data is coming up, how you are going to process the data, how you are going to ensure various attributes of the data. So like here you should be focusing on, if you know that you have to mention data quality, data privacy, data access, everything. So if you have a laundry list of what the data engineer should do, what are the things about the data that you should check, that particular tool you should be able to use to do that. So if you are fundamentally clear about what do you want to do with a particular data, you would be able to use any tool which is to be available. Because here, whatever tool you learn, your customer might be having something different. But you have to be good in one tool, and then once you are good into the one tool and you are experienced with couple of projects, then you would be able to easily transition to the other tool, because most of the tools are similar. They are doing the same job slightly differently, and the way they are marketing it. So if you understand that, you will be able to switch over to the tool that is required by your customer.
Great. So Anjali, one very interesting question has come up is, what's the role of a data annotators, and can you explain their career growth?
Okay, the career growth would be the data engineer, data scientist, senior data scientist, and then you really become a kind of a strategy which you can help which you can guide your company. So from first is the data engineer, then you become a junior data scientist, and if you can become citizen data scientist, which is like where you become a consumer of the data, so you will be able to guide person, like you will be able to tell maybe Mumbai commissioner that okay, now it lockdown, or now unlock the city. So if you are able to tell that to the maybe the police like Mumbai municipality commissioner, then that would be the highest role that you can have.
So Anjali, I think the question was also around, data annotators, right? I think this is a new job that has come up because of, machine learning requirement. So can you give us some idea about this data annotators?
See here, what happens is in the big data, the data comes in a huge, like huge volume. So there are like thousands of columns and millions and billions of rows in the data and with the various things. So data annotators, maybe it's like how the data is described and how you're going to annotate the data, how you're going to make connection with the different databases. So data, how you are going to describe the data. One of the job of a data engineer is to document the data, prepare the data dictionaries, and all the data annotation has to be documented. So everybody is on the same page, because somebody might call it X1, somebody might call it X2 and all those things. So how you build a relationship between the data, how you can, that's what the data annotators would come. They would document the data, they would ensure that the data connections are established and they are able to answer the questions.
Okay, great. So Anjali, there is one person who is asking about the cloud technology and big data, right? So there is question, which cloud technology is more good with big data? Right?
See, for with big data, cloud is given. Like here, nothing would come without cloud now. All the big data project has to be there on cloud only, the way the technology is processing. So it can be different, like it can be a public cloud, it can be a private cloud, it could be in-premises cloud, or it could be anything outside the thing. So cloud is given with big data. So you have to be familiar with all the cloud terminologies or cloud technology before you enter into the data engineers.
So there is one question from Priya, which actually we have received so many times. What is the difference in data analyst, data engineer, data architecture, and data management?
See, overall, it's like it depends on what it is. All these roles are kind of overlapping. It will not be like one data architect, one data engineer, one data scientist. Like it depends on how your team is structured. So data architect would, I can say that they would decide on the infrastructure part, like which tools to use and how the tools are going to talk to each other. So that would be the job of data architect, and writing and selecting the proper application interfaces and bridges between the two. So that's the data architect. Data, what else you said? Data scientists are like understanding the data, telling the data, preparing the model, and communicating the data. That would be the role of data scientist. Data engineer would be ensuring that the proper data is coming into the system and all attributes, again, the data attributes are adhered to. So their quality and all quality, privacy, security, all those things that are adhered to. There's a good book on called Infonomics, where they say that how data, if you think that data is money, okay, if you think that a data engineer should think that data is money, and if you have 100 GBs of data or 1000 GBs of data, you are obviously a rich person. But at the same time, it brings the responsibility of securing that data, procuring that data, ensuring that the data is safe. So all those things, responsibility of a data engineer.
Suhash want to ask a question. Suhash, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I'm a final year student and I'm pursuing data science and business analytics. But due to the pandemic, the teaching is not going so well, and we are not getting companies for campus recruitment. So, should I look for a off-campus recruitment, or should I take up a PG program?
Good question. See, the market currently, I see the market is opening up. Like if you want to go for PG, or if you want, first of all, you should get some hands-on experience. And then I would recommend you should go for PG, because right now in the pandemic situation, try to do some project, like go to Kaggle, take some databases, do some projects, present that projects as part of your data science curriculum, get some experience, and then maybe you can go for a PG.
So Suhash, probably I would also like to add some points here. So what has happened in last 3 to 4 years is that suddenly everybody started getting interest in data science, and not only the general public but companies have also started getting a lot of interest in data science, and that's why a lot of companies have started getting the data science projects. But what everybody hasn't realized that is that even for a data science to work, companies need a lot of data, right? And suddenly in the teams that we are when I'm interacting with a lot of recruiters or other companies, everybody has now a data science team. But now what they have started looking for is actually concepts like ML ops, right? Data engineer, which makes things at a production level for them, right? So right now, if you are a just data scientist, the market will be a little bit tough for you. And other thing that has also happened is every institute, every college has launched its data science course. If you see, right, all the IITs, all every deemed university, they have launched their data science course. So at present, right now, we have kind of a glut of people, right? So you cannot. So this field has become a little bit more competitive, right? Gone are the days when you can just how to program some neural network and you will be able to land good jobs. Everybody's now are now doing that, right? So you have to upskill yourself. Either you can go read more about the ML ops, do some projects, real life projects, right? And the other way around is your data engineering, which is more on an engineering side, right? So that's my 2 cents, right? So you have to upskill yourself. There is huge competition in market right now because like everybody is has launched its own data science course.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So probably Anjali will take one more last question. Um, so yeah, there's one question from Rakshit. Data centered or model centered? Which one is used in industries?
See, you cannot build model without the data, and the data is not of any use if there is no model built on it. So it's nothing that data centered or model centered. So it has to be both at the same time.
Right. So I think we thanks Anjali. Probably we can close our session now. Right.
Hello,
It's
ma'am.
just 8 o'clock, and I'm very happy that. Oh, Abhishek, you have a question?
Yes.
Okay, please, Abhishek, go ahead. Probably will take this last question.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, Abhishek.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I am an MBA aspirant. So, as a MBA graduate, what all tools I need to learn in order to get I mean, a core data related job in future?
So first of all, if you want to become data engineer, you need some IT skills. As I said, if you already have IT skills, like you are able to program something, you can become a data engineer. Or if you are statistics skills, if your mathematics skills, you can think about becoming a data scientist. As an MBA, if you just have into the domain expertise, you can go into data governance, data management. So depending on what exactly your profile, before you have your MBA, so there are also roles of chief data officers that is coming up. Data governance, where you are actually managing the data. You're managing a team of data engineers, data scientists, and you're managing the complete infrastructure and ensure everything is like everything from operations perspective running fine, and everybody is kind of getting everything, like data engineers are getting sufficient data scientists is getting proper data to work on it, and obviously the management would get the actionable insights based on the data.
Okay. So probably
one last
guys,
question. I'm sorry.
no,
One last
guys.
question.
I think Anjali, are you okay to take one more question?
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
probably we'll take two more questions now because I already told some people that we are not going to take a question.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ma'am, my name is Vishal. I have three years experience in mechanical domain, but as you know, the mechanical industry down from the last 2-3 years. So for salary purpose and growth purpose, I have to switch in the IT. It is possible to how much difficulty in switching the career in IT for being a data science and data analyst.
If you're fundamentally strong in your mechanics, you should be able to cope up with your new programming languages, etc. But you will have to definitely slog it out, do some data science certification. You must have learned some statistics before, so that you should refresh that, so that you start understanding the data. And then obviously one certification is required before you kind of switch to any other field.
Okay, great. So thanks, Anjali. Thanks again for having such a nice presentation on the career in this analytics field. Everybody who I have met in the last few days, they have so many questions around in their mind because it is getting a little bit confusing and proper framework has still not emerged. Thanks a lot for taking this class. So guys, Anjali will also be part of our boot camp. She will be talking a lot about the data governance. Vishal, I will not be able to take your question. I am very sorry, but probably you can send your questions to me. Right, I'll maybe forward to Anjali later on. Right. So Anjali, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for coming to this session. I hope you would have enjoyed, and our audience also has been very interactive. They had a lot of questions on this aspect. I am very sorry, guys. I was not able to take all your questions. The questions are still coming to me, but definitely we'll have a few more sessions in the future. You can keep visiting our and talk page where we give the idea about what events are going to happen. Right, you can join another bootcamp also, masterclass also, and plus you can also join the bootcamp there where you will be getting much more idea about the data engineering. Okay, thank you again, Anjali. Good night.
Thank you, Ram. Thank you all for joining. Bye bye.